Hey y'all, it's Sarah and welcome back to my YouTube channel. You can find me over on Instagram at themagicalreader, and my debut novel, Victory Gallop, is now on Etsy and Amazon. So today's video, we are in a new spot. I think I'm liking this situation. My dog is sleeping next to me. There is a bed next to me, so he's sleeping on that. For anyone who is on Griffey watch, he is... Let me see if I can move him. He's absolutely passed out, living his best life. So, yes, there's Griffey. But today's video, I know I always have a long intro. Today's video is going to be a huge book haul. I am not often a book buying girl. I typically don't buy books full price unless they are Sarah J. Maas or a similar author that I know I'm gonna love. Let's see, a Truly Devious book, a Inheritance Games book, similarly. So I've got books in several piles here. I've got books that I have already read, whether that is before buying them or since buying them. Typically it's before. I have books that I have not read. And up here I've got books that were sent as ARCs or finished copies from publishers. So I'm going to go through all of them. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what each one is about. I'm going to share why I got it because I like to be thoughtful about my purchases. I'll let you know where I got it from. And yeah, that'll be it. So if you are interested in book hauls, then click subscribe down below. Give me a comment. Let me know if you want to read any of these with me or your favorite edition that you see, and just keep watching. All right, so I am someone who loves beautiful things. I am someone who appreciates art, but I don't collect a lot of stuff. So I'm not out here buying special editions for all kinds of things. However, I have like 7 copies of The Great Gatsby. So we talked about this during my shelf tour the other day. Yes, that one's already posted. Some of these y'all have obviously seen on my shelf tour. I just love The Great Gatsby. I think it's just such a good story and everyone should read it a million times. And that's coming from someone who doesn't like classics and didn't read really any of the required readings in school. Google was my best friend. Don't do that. So first one is this copy of The Great Gatsby, obviously by F. Scott Fitzgerald. I just like the style. It's humongous print. I mean, the book is, only 150 pages normally, but big print. I think the style is really cool and the colors. And then I got this one, which is like a cloth bound situation, like a paper cloth. And it's got The Great Gatsby. It's a little shiny, and it's just formatted a little bit differently, but same sort of gig. And that's the back with the champagne. Both of these I got from the book, what's it called? Book Outlet, which for me is like thrifting because it's super cheap. Like the price is often similar to what you would see at a thrift store. You used to be able to get books at thrift stores for like 50 cents and now they're like $5. So to me, Book Outlet is a similar price. So both of those are from Book Outlet. Let's see, what do we want to do next? Let's go ahead and continue on with some thrifty type or secondhand books. This I got from my old local bookstore. They sell used books. This is a Jodi Picoult novel called Keeping Faith. And this is a story. It says, for the second time in her marriage, Mariah White catches her husband with another woman, and Faith, their 7-year-old daughter, witnesses every painful minute. In the aftermath of a sudden divorce, Mariah struggles with depression, and Faith begins to confide in an imaginary friend. As at first, Mariah dismisses these exchanges as a child's imagination, but when Faith starts reciting passages from the Bible, develops stigmata, and begins to perform miraculous healings, Mariah wonders if her daughter might actually be seeing God. So Jodi Picoult always does really interesting stories about things that are going on in society, and I've loved every book that I've read by her. So I figured I'd get this one. And then this is another one by her that I also got secondhand at my local used bookstore. Well, my old local bookstore. I don't think I have a local bookstore now, which is a bummer. This one says, a shocking murder shatters the picturesque calm of Pennsylvania's Amish country and tests the heart and soul of the lawyer who steps in to defend the young woman at the center of the storm. So this is called Plain Truth. And then the other one was Keeping Faith. On to the next. Okay, so I got this from Book Outlet as well. And this is Parable of the Sower by Octavia E. Butler. One of my friends over on Instagram loves this series, and Octavia E. Butler is an absolute icon, so I thought I needed to pick this one up. It says, when global climate change and economic crises lead to a social chaos in the early 2020s, California becomes full of dangers, from pervasive water shortages to masses of vagabonds who will do anything to live to see another day. I think it also has to do a lot with religion in this dystopian society. Obviously it has climate change involved, and I'm really excited to read this one because it's based in what she thought would be the early 2020s, which we are in, and this was written in 1993, which was actually the year of my birth. So yes, very timely. The next one is by Tolkien. It is The Fall of Numenor. I always forget how to say that, The Fall of Numenor. I was inspired to pick this one up after watching The Rings of Power. And it's got some like smaller illustrations throughout in terms of like chapter headings. But it also has really pretty like end papers, which is cool. I got this one on Book Outlet as well for like $5 for a giant hardback, which I thought was really cool. So this one is, let's see, says, now adhering to the timeline of The Tale of Years and the appendices of Lord of the Rings, editor Brian Sibley has assembled into one comprehensive volume, New Chronicle in the Second Age of Middle-earth, told in the words of J.R.R. Tolkien. So this is specifically about the fall of Numenor, which is a specific place in, specific place that is a setting in The Rings of Power. Goodness gravy. You can tell I am all over it today. So that one I have not read yet either. And then the last one I have that I purchased that I haven't read is Assistant to the Villain. I love these sprayed edges. They're so poppy. For some reason I thought they were going to be pink, and then they came out red, and I'm like, still love it. So here's the tagline. It says, assistant wanted, notorious high-ranking villain seeks loyal, level-headed assistant for unspecified office duties, supporting staff for random mayhem and terror, and other dark things in general. Discretion, a must, excellent benefit. So this is by Red Tower Books, which is a publisher of Fourth Wing, and it's written by Hannah Nicole Mayer. And apparently this is really big on TikTok, but I saw it and thought it was cool. So let's do some ARCs and finish copies. So these are all sent to me from publishers. Some are solicited, some are not. I will let you know which is which. So the first is The Fury. Y'all might have seen this everywhere out and about. They do a really great job with their marketing of books. This is from Celadon. They do some really interesting marketing things. This one was unsolicited, but I will gladly accept. So this is written by the same author as The Silent Patient, which I enjoyed. I didn't read his second book, but I read The Silent Patient and loved it. And it says, this is a tale of murder, or maybe that's not quite true. At its heart, it's a love story, isn't it? Lana Farrar is a reclusive ex-movie star and one of the most famous women in the world. Every year, she invites her closest friends to escape the English weather and spend Easter on her idyllic private Greek island. I tell you this because you think you may know the story. You probably read about it at the time. It caused a real stir in the tabloids, if you remember. It had all the necessary ingredients for a press sensation, a celebrity, private island, cut off by the wind, and a murder. So, that sounds very interesting. I'm here for it. I'm not sure when it publishes. Let's see, January. So I've got a little bit to get to that one. But yes. Make some space over here. I'm gonna have like a mountain of books But yeah, so that's The Fury by Alex Michaelides. All right, next one I have read this already. This is The 12 Dogs of Christmas by Susan Wiggs. It says, Brenda Malloy wants nothing to do with Christmas ever again. Last year, Brenda and her husband rushed their beloved dog, Tim, to the emergency vet at midnight. The good news, Tim survived after the vets cleared the obstruction. A pair of women's underwear. The bad news, the underwear was not Brenda's. So you can see where that is going. She now has gotten her life together, as it were. She's working for a dog rescue, and she is taking 12 dogs in a van up to New York in the Christmas time. It is snowing. Super cute, very fun, quick read. I think it's less than 250 pages. Really like this one. So if you like Christmas stories, if you like Hallmark-esque stories, you will love that one. All right, next book I got is another Susan Wiggs book. This was sent to me also by Uplit, who sent me this other one by her. But this one is called Welcome to Beach Town. I know, I'm behind. It's October. But I went to the pool yesterday and it's October, so, it can still be Beach Town. It says, every town has its secrets. In idyllic Alara Cove, a California beach town known for its sunny charm and chill surfer vibe, it's graduation day. The students at the elite Thornton Academy are the worldly and overindulged children who live in gated enclaves with spectacular views. And the class valedictorian is Nikki Graziola, a surfer's daughter who's there on scholarship. To the shock of everyone in the audience, Nikki veers off script while giving her commencement address and reveals a secret that breaks open the whole community. As her truth explodes into the light, Alara Cove will face a reckoning. So I'm here for that. And sorry, when I read synopses, I read really fast and I talk really fast, but I actually have trouble reading out loud. So yes, if I stutter or stumble, that is that about that. But that one again is Welcome to Beach Town by Susan Wiggs. And I'm very excited for it. So maybe I will take that down to the pool with me today because I do need to get a new book to read. Next one I have already read. I read it right when it came out. This is The Brothers Hawthorne. This is a finished copy. I got it like a month ahead of release. I sent an email to the publicity person that I worked with at Little Brown Books for Young Readers, and I've worked with her in the past on the first book in this series, and then for the second book I sent her an email and I was like, hey, if you want to work with me again, I would love to read the second book in the series. And she sent me an e-copy, which is really cool. Time passed me by on the third book in the series. I've purchased all of them since, so I would buy them either way. But then this one was coming out and I was like, hey, I'll send her an email again. I'm really excited about this. Maybe I can get another e-copy. If not, I've got it on pre-order. She sent me a finished copy. It's super cool. I think Barnes & Noble might have a purple edition. But yeah, this is The Brothers Hawthorne. It says there is nothing more Hawthorne than winning. So this is the fourth book in the Inheritance Games series. And it says 4 brothers, 2 missions, 1 explosive read. I don't want to give too much information because it'll spoil things for the other books. But if you liked the Inheritance Games and you wanted more from the Brothers Hawthorne is where it's at. Okay, so next one is going to be Wildfire. I've talked about this one 87 times since I got it. This is an ARC. I absolutely loved Icebreaker. I saw this was coming out. I don't read a lot of contemporary, but I was like, I am your girl. I loved Icebreaker. I sent them an email and was like, hey, I'd love to get an e-copy of this book if you are sending them out to influencers or anything. And they sent me an ARC, like a physical copy. So super, super cool to be able to work with them. And yeah, so this one is the second book in the Maple Hills series. If you liked Icebreaker, I think you will like this one as well. Summer camp vibes, which I've been a camp counselor many times. So yes, loved this book. Super, super good. Okay. Ooh, my goodness, throwing things around. Okay, I'm on my last stack, and my last stack is books that I purchased that I have already read. Whether that was before, like I said, whether that was before I purchased them, I'd already read them, or after I purchased them. So I'll let you know which is which. So this is Once There Were Wolves. I read this probably last year, and I just got it on Book Outlet. It's in hardback. It's very short. But this novel, let me tell you a little bit about it. It says, Inti Flynn arrives in Scotland with her twin sister Aggie to lead a team of biologists tasked with reintroducing 14 gray wolves into the remote highlands. She hopes to heal not only the dying landscape, but Aggie too, unmade by the terrible secrets that drove the sisters out of Alaska. This story has an innumerable amount of trigger warnings throughout its very short self. But I think it's a stunning read, especially if you enjoy stories about nature, animals, rewilding, that sort of stuff. So again, this is Once There Were Wolves. This author also wrote Migrations, which I have been running my mouth about how much I love that. So after I'd read this, I was like, well, I need to get a copy at some point. I saw it come up on the Book Outlet, so I keep hitting something. What is that? Okay, now we're good. Yeah, so I don't go on Book Outlet all the time, but when I go on there, I'm like, oh, I've read that book. I love it. I will get it, so I'm not paying full price, if that makes sense. Next one is going to be Spells for Forgetting by Adrienne Young. This book is so good. We read this for book club, and I was absolutely obsessed with it. And I think a lot of people in our book club were too. So, yes. So this one is basically, it says, from New York Times bestselling author Adrienne Young comes a deeply atmospheric story about ancestral magic and unsolved murder and a second chance at love. That's where I'm going to leave it. I think you should go into it blind. These are the vibes. This is the absolute vibe of the book. What you see in the cover is what you get. Adrienne Young is very talented. I have read her Fable series and enjoyed that. I have read the first book in the Sky and the Sea duology and really loved that. And then Spells for Forgetting. She has a new book that's coming out soon, which I have an e-arc of that I have to get to soon. Okay, anywho, but yes, so I got this one from Barnes & Noble. I had a gift card, so I picked this one up. Okay, y'all. I've been filming for like 20 minutes straight, and I'm trying to get this done quick, but I wanted to actually read synopses for you guys because I know I haven't been doing that very well recently. Okay, so this one is Legend and Lattes. I'm sure most of y'all have heard of this book. If you haven't yet, it is a cozy fantasy, and it literally says on the book, a novel of high fantasy and low stakes, and I absolutely love that. One of the blurbs says, take a break from epic battles and saving the world. This is my new comfort read, and I believe that so strongly. So I also got this one from Book Outlet. I'd read it before, loved it, really wanted to pick it up, and saw it on there, so I grabbed it. Okay, so it says, after a lifetime of bounties and bloodshed, Viv is hanging up her sword for the last time. The battle-weary orc aims to start fresh, opening the first ever coffee shop in the city of Thun. But rivals old and new stand in the way of success, not to mention the fact that no one has the faintest idea what coffee actually is. Yeah, an orc stops fighting and makes a coffee shop for people that have never heard of coffee. It's very cute. So, love that one. Okay, next one. I got this first one on a whim because I love Jennifer Lynn Barnes. And I normally, like I said, don't buy things that I haven't read yet. But I was like, it can't be bad. Like, it's literally Jennifer Lynn Barnes. She's an icon. So I got The Naturals. I got the first one. I've since bought the next two because it's so good. And the blurb of this says, The Naturals is criminal minds for the YA world, which is so true. It says, 17-year-old Cassie Hobbs is a natural at reading people, piecing together the tiniest details. She can tell you who you are and what you want, but it's not a skill that's ever been taken seriously. That is, until the FBI comes knocking. They've begun a classified program that uses exceptional teenagers to crack infamous cold cases, and they need Cassie. So, if you are into that sort of thing, I think you will love this. It's super fast, just like the Inheritance games. It is not the same as the Inheritance games, so don't expect the exact same thing. I read this more like Truly Devious, and I think it's great. So I'm glad I got the next two, and I can't wait to get the last one next time I have a gift card or something like that. This one I have also read. I got this from Book Outlet. It's A History of Wild Places by Shay Earnshaw. I think Shay Earnshaw is an excellent author. She also wrote The Wicked Deep, which I think is really good. this book is basically like The Village. So imagine The Village. Have that like setting in your brain, okay? It says a story about fairy tales, our fear of the dark, and losing yourself within the wilderness of your mind. Let's see. Travis Wren has an unusual talent for locating missing people. Often hired by families as a last resort, he takes on the case of Maggie St. James, a well-known author of macabre children's books, and is soon led to a place many believe to only be a legend. Called Pastoral, this reclusive community is founded in the 1970s. My dog is snoring. Founded in the 1970s by like-minded people searching for a simpler way of life. By all accounts, Pastoral shouldn't exist anymore, and soon after Travis stumbles upon it, he disappears, just like Maggie St. James. So, it's super good. It's super twisty. It is all kinds of creepy. If you need a fall book, that is the one. Okay, next up, I forgot that I tabbed this book, which is cool. I forgot I did that. Next up is Fourthling. I had not read this yet when I bought it, but people that I trust said it was great. They said it was like Divergent, and I died for Divergent. I love it. So it says, and a dragon without its rider is a tragedy. A rider without its dragon is dead. I'm sure you've heard innumerable things about this book, but I think it's really pretty. The cover's pretty, and papers are pretty. Sprayed edges are pretty, obviously. But yeah, so I managed to get a first edition of this, like literally right before it sold out, which is kind of cool. So yeah, that is Fourthling. And then the last book, technically I got 3, but I only brought one of them over here, is the new copies of Throne of Glass. So like I said during my bookshelf tour, I am rereading these for research purposes, and these are by Sarah J. Maas. She also wrote Court of Thorns and Roses and Crescent City. So it says, lethal, loyal, legendary. In a land without magic, an assassin is summoned to the castle. She has no love for the vicious king who rules from his throne of glass, but she has not come to kill him. She has come to win her freedom. If she defeats 23 murderers, thieves, and warriors in a competition, she will be released from prison to serve as the king's champion. So this is a YA series. I think it gets a little more new adult as it goes on, as you know, as the character ages. But this is by Sarah J. Maas. It's a excellent series, and I am excited that I now have the first 3 of them back in my hands. I am reading Heir of Fire right now, rereading everything, like I said. And I can't wait to get through them before the end of the year so I can reread A Court of Thorns and Roses. Then I will reread Crescent City. And basically I'll just be reading Sarah J. Maas for the rest of my life. So that is that about that. So these are all the books that I have gotten in the last probably 3 months. This is not normal for me. I typically don't have this many arcs. I typically don't buy this many books, but thrifting and Book Outlet were helping me out. So yeah, this is my haul for the last like 3 or so months. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to click the subscribe button down below. I would love to get to 100 subscribers. I think that'd be really cool. So yeah, if you're interested in these types of videos, just stick around and I'll have more for you next week. All right, bye y'all.